While many public school systems in Western Massachusetts are wrestling with if and how to reopen this fall, the Springfield Roman Catholic Diocese has announced that 12 elementary schools and St. Mary's High School in Westfield will fully reopen with in-class instruction. Connecting Point's Ray Hershel sat down with the Superintendent of Catholic Schools in Western Mass to find out how the diocese reached its decision and what safety guidelines will be followed to keep students, teachers, and staff safe.
There are kind of two reasons. We were waiting for the directives to come from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education from Massachusetts. So we had many different variations of plans kind of ready to go, anticipating the DESE guidance. When they came out and they recommended 6-foot spacing, and then even in the recommendations recommended less than 6-foot spacing, I knew right away that based on our enrollments and the capacity we have in our facilities, that each of our schools could safely social distance their entire school populations at those 6-foot standards. And so once we knew that that was possible, and knowing that in-person instruction is the most effective way to handle instruction, we made the decision that we were going to go ahead and do this in a way that was responsible and safe, and would guarantee the excellence that our families they desire from our schools.
So space was a major issue, and as you say, the Catholic schools have that additional space where you could expand a bit and socially distance. Can you talk about some of the specific precautions that will be in place when school resumes? For example, will students be required to wear masks? What will be some of the specific safety procedures that will be implemented when kids go back to school?
So we're taking our cue from our local departments of public health for that. So yes, mask wearing is going to be an important part of our safety plan. And we're following the CDC and the Department of Public Health guidelines for the sanitization of the building. So we have some training we have to do with our custodial staffs. We're going to have to increase in a couple ways how we handle the cleaning of the spaces and the sanitization of the spaces. So that's part of it. But the mask wearing, the teachers will be wearing masks and or face shields depending on the age group and how comfortable they are. Again, fitting with the DESE guidance that we were given. And the students will be wearing masks as they move about, right? But because they're socially distanced, they are 6 feet apart in the classrooms. They will be allowed to, again, based on the guidance, they will be allowed to have mask breaks. And those mask breaks are going to be determined by each of the individual schools as they communicate with their local departments of public health.
And how will some of those larger areas where students would congregate, for example, a gymnasium or a cafeteria, how would that be handled in terms of socially distancing and keeping the students safe?
So we're really not going to be using those spaces as we have traditionally in the past, right? So we're really going to be focusing on, for recess, for PE, as much outdoor play as possible, because that's kind of the wide open, safest environment. Some of our schools are using the gymnasiums in their cafeterias as overflow classroom space. So when we socially distance, as I said, we had capacity, right? But we have some schools that have 24, 25, 26 kids in a class, and they couldn't fit in a classroom. So in some of those schools are hybrid, if you will, isn't a combination of being in the classroom and being home. It's a combination of them of a majority of the students being in the classroom, and then another group of students being in some of these overflow spaces that are monitored. So we're using our larger spaces, our cafeterias, our gyms, our libraries as these overflow classroom spaces, and then cycling the students in and out of the classrooms day after day in a way that keeps them engaged at the school, keeps them at the school, and keeps them part of the community going through.
Well, everyone wants to get kids back in the classroom, obviously, for instructional purposes, which is the most effective way. Can you talk about what kind of reaction you've heard from Catholic parents in the diocese to the news that the schools will be opening full-time? Are there any, for example, that still have some issues or questions or concerns about the safety of kids going back to school? What's the general reaction been?
Yeah, so we knew that was going to happen, and so we were kind of positioned, if we needed to put together a Catholic virtual academy. So if we reached a certain number of parents who weren't able to, or were not comfortable sending their kids back to the schools full time, we were going to implement a virtual Catholic school, right? So those students could learn remotely, and instead of school by school having to deal with that, right, that the diocese would would create a school-based response for that. But what we overwhelmingly have heard, at least at this point, is that the parents are very happy about the safety precautions we're taking. They're very happy with what we're laying out, and they do want their kids to be in the schools full time. So when originally we had thought maybe 40, 50, 60 of our students might want a fully virtual education, we've actually seen, at least in our original survey data that we've gotten from the schools, is that those numbers are closer to like 10 or 12 from the entire system. And that's manageable school by school. So if a school has 1 or 2 students, they're going to try their best to work with that particular family, or in certain cases, if they are focusing just on the in-class instruction, then the diocese is going to try to connect those families with Catholic Virtual or one of these other companies that we know helps to support a remote instruction.
Now, as I understand it, there are 12 elementary schools which will be opening full-time, or fully, I should say, within the class instruction, and St. Mary's High in Westfield. What about Pope Francis Preparatory School? That, I believe, is an independent school, so what is its status, and how does this fit into the equation?
So Pope Francis has been, they're independent in their governance, and that happened before I was even here as a superintendent. That happened several years ago. So they have their own governance board that makes the ultimate decisions for them. They've been very good about being in the calls with us. Dr. Harrington has been in all the Zoom calls. Cindy Geiger has been all the Zoom calls. And so we've shared our plans with them. They've asked us questions. We've talked with them. But they don't submit their plans to our diocese, so they go ahead and they develop their own plan. I know that Paul's been working on it. We've had a few conversations, but I don't really know how they're going to handle it. They're a larger population, so yes, St. Mary's is opening full-time instruction, but St. Mary's is a small high school that's growing. Pope Francis is almost at capacity in its enrollment. So being able to manage that space is a much different question for them.
Superintendent Baillargeon, I wanted to ask you about the space issue in Catholic schools, which you say they have extra space, so you are allowing everybody to go back and socially distance. Some parents, for example, whose kids might be in public school, are concerned that they might not be able to go back full-time with in-class instructions. Do you expect, or have you heard from any parents, for example, about the possibility of enrolling their students in the Catholic schools? Would Catholic enrollment, for example, go up, do you feel, because of this classroom instruction and the extra space you have?
So that's a two-edged sword. In some of our schools, we have already seen increase in enrollment and interest. So we have waiting lists in areas that we have not in the past, right? So that's kind of a good thing if you think about it. Because we're capping our space in order to keep the 6-foot distancing, we don't have as much room to open our doors wide. We can't necessarily say, well, everybody come and do this. So there is limited space in some of our schools right now. So there's a demand piece to that. And we do know that some families are going to come to us because they want a full-time education. We want to be cautious, though, that while we can definitely meet the need of those particular families for this year, when public schools open fully again, their choice to come to us was based on having a full-time education rather than having a Catholic education. And so we want to be very good, clear, and consistent about who we are at this time. Hopefully we'll win some of the families who are coming to us, right? And they'll decide to stay in our schools because they'll see the value added of a Catholic education. But I don't want to put a lot of emphasis on the fact that we might have an enrollment bump this year, because it is a result of us being able to open fully rather than a result of everything that we're doing in our schools.
Superintendent, we only have a few seconds left, but one quick final message to the parents, the students, and the teachers of Catholic schools as you prepare to open fully.
Sure. I just want to let everybody know that we are going to take the utmost in precautions, right? We are concerned with safety and we're concerned with academic excellence, and we're not going to violate either of those. If we are seeing the trends that are going to force us into remote, then we're going to have to do those things. But right now, from what we know, from what we see, opening our schools full time is the best support to our families. We can do it in the safest possible way, and we're going to guarantee that we're as excellent as we have always been, if not better than what we have in the past.